All right. I hope all of you able to hear me, right? Can you please confirm yes in the chat if you guys are able to hear me? All right. Thank you. Okay. So first, let me start introduction about myself. My name is Ram. I have nearly 14 plus years of experience in IT industry. In this 14 years of experience, I've been working for this SQL, MSBI, Power BI with Microsoft Fabric and Azure Data Engineering, and I have nearly 8 plus years of IT trainings and placement experience. And we are based out of Hyderabad location. You can see our office location also in Hyderabad in Amirpet location. So this is our office premises. You can able to see it over here. This is our office premises. You can visit our office as well. Okay. So today what I'm going to discuss it over here, I'm going to discussing about this Microsoft Fabric course. Many people have still a lot of confusion which course they want to learn. So like because why the confusion has created, so many people are suggesting when I'm interacting with the student, few people wants to learn Azure Data Engineering, Azure Data Engineering course, and a few people wants to learn Power BI course, few people wants to learn Microsoft Fabric course. First, you should understand the difference between the each one and what is the relation between the each tool as well. Then only you can decide finally which course you want to learn it over here. Okay. So generally most of the people nowadays they want to learn some courses related to the data side. Why? Because day by day the importance of the data is increasing over here. When you are coming to the data side, generally what kind of jobs, roles and responsibilities we have? One is about a data engineering, second one is about the data analysis, and the third one is about the data science over here. So whenever you are choosing your career, you need to choose whether you want to work like a data engineer, whether you want to work like a data analysis or a data scientist. So these three jobs, whichever we have on the data side, what is the best course to work to learn as a data engineer, as a data analyst, as a data scientist? So you need to identify the best course, that is the 50% of the success will be depends on this the best course over here. Whenever you are identifying the best course, your effort has reduced 50%. Okay, coming to the data engineering, so far in the market, the clients when they are going to implement their projects, they are going to use Microsoft Azure Data Engineering. Microsoft Azure Data Engineering. So what exactly a data engineer will do? What is the roles and responsibilities of a data engineer and what he is going to learn it over here? If you see, as a data engineer, let's take one use case scenario. I have one supermarket. In every supermarket, I have a billing counters. As a customer, as a customer, when he is going to visiting of the supermarket, in the billing counter, he is going to do a transactions. Whenever he is doing the transactions, the transactions data will come and the transactions data will come and save in the backend some databases. So this is going to be happening in every supermarket. This is another supermarket. When again another customer is buying a product in the billing counter, the transactions data will come and store in the backend database over here. Backend database over here. So now as a data engineer, what is your role? Your role of a data engineer is you need to consolidate your data which you have in your different databases and different locations into one particular location. Okay, so I have some data over here. I have some data over here. So these two data sources data we need to consolidate into one staging area. So the process whatever you are doing to consolidating the data from multiple locations into one location, we are calling it as a ETL, extraction, transformation and loading of the data. So ideally to implement this scenario, so far the clients are using data factory tool inside the Microsoft Azure. So the data engineering projects, most of the projects the clients are implementing on the Microsoft Azure portal over here. You can see that Microsoft Azure portal. This is our Microsoft Azure portal, portal.azure.com. You need to log into this portal.azure.com. There you have so many software services available. What service you want? I need a data factory service to create some data pipelines to move the data from one place to another place, from multiple locations to one single location. So for that purpose we are using a data factory tool, and also we are storing of the data by using some storage services like a storage accounts and all those things. Then we are going to moving the data from staging to data warehousing. In between staging to data warehousing, we are applying some data cleaning techniques and transformation techniques over here. We are applying some data cleaning and transformation techniques. To do this data cleaning and transformation techniques purpose, we are using some Databricks with a PySpark. Okay. So once your data is coming to the data warehousing, then the data engineer role is completed. What a data engineer is doing? Data engineer is consolidating the data from different data source locations and keeping into one particular location under the staging area. From the staging area, we are going to load into data warehousing. To do this process, we are using data factory tools and we are using some Databricks tools over here. We are using some Databricks tools over here. Okay. So whatever the data finally you have saved in the data warehousing, what you need to do with this data? By using that data, we are going to designing of some Power BI reports and dashboards. This is called data analysis. So if you observe, to implement this data engineering part, we are using Microsoft Azure portal. This is the Microsoft Azure portal. Inside we have a data factory service and we have a data brick service. We have data brick services. And for designing of the reports and dashboards by using a Power BI, that is called data analysis. So to do the data analysis purpose, we are using Microsoft Power BI. Again, to implement this Microsoft Power BI, you have to log into another portal, that is app.powerbi.com. This is a different cloud from the Microsoft. You need to design some reports and dashboards inside over here. So we are using, see, there is a Power BI. So we are using two different platforms to implement the data engineering and a data analysis. Now what the Microsoft is doing, even for the data science also, we have a Microsoft Machine Learning Studio. We have a Microsoft Machine Learning Studio where we can find out, that is also we can able to find out some machine learning, Azure machine learning inside the Microsoft Azure portal itself. So Microsoft recently what they were doing from last 1.5 years, if you see the Satya Nadella interview, Microsoft company has recognized a lot of importance for the data. There is a lot of importance for the data. So the data related projects might be data engineering, data analysis projects. Instead of keeping in this Microsoft Azure portal, we want to make it separate the data engineering related services, whatever the data factory, Databricks, and all those things, and we want to keep inside the Power BI. Earlier, when you were logged into app.powerbi.com, you can able to see only Power BI. But now, you can able to find out along with this Power BI, there are some Fabric capabilities you are able to see. What is this Fabric capabilities? Simple. A Microsoft Fabric is nothing but Power BI plus Azure Data Engineering Services, whichever you are learning inside this portal.azure.com, nothing but a data factory, Databricks, and some storage and data warehousing. These are all included inside this app.powerbi.com. Then they are calling it as a Microsoft Fabric. So Microsoft has developed separate cloud by including of this Power BI and this Microsoft Azure Data Engineering, that is called Microsoft Fabric. So what is a Microsoft Fabric? Microsoft Fabric is a SaaS platform. They were using existing app.powerbi.com only, then they are keeping Fabric Power BI. What do you mean by Fabric Power BI? Fabric means it is a complete package of data engineering related data factory, Databricks, Dataflows, storage services, Lakehouse, and they have warehousing. Many things they have implemented. That means for existing data analysis Power BI, they have added some data engineering capabilities by bringing from the Microsoft portal into this app.powerbi.com. Then after they were calling this as a data, they were calling this as a Microsoft Fabric. After combining, guys, is it clear my voice for everyone? I hope it's clear my voice, right? Can all of you please confirm? Okay, right. So by combining of this Microsoft data engineering capabilities into this Power BI, they were calling that as a Microsoft Fabric. Microsoft Fabric over here. So let's take it. This is a Microsoft Azure Data Engineering. This is Power BI. Earlier we have only powerbi.com. Sorry, only Power BI we have inside this one, where you need to log into www.app.powerbi.com. This is Microsoft Azure Data Engineering. Microsoft Azure Data Engineering. So inside this Microsoft Azure Data Engineering, we have a storage account, we have a Synapse data warehousing, we have a data factory, we have a Databricks, live streaming. Okay, as a data engineer, we are going to use these services. Now Microsoft, what it has done inside this app.powerbi.com itself, it has added all these data engineering capabilities. All these data engineering capabilities, whichever we have over here. Okay, whichever we have, all these capabilities, we are going to add it over here. What are those things? The first one is storage account, right? So that here the naming convention has changed to Lakehouse. Then after Synapse data warehousing, here we are calling it as a data warehouse and data factory. Here the naming convention will come as a data pipeline. The next one is a Databricks. The next one is a Dataflow Gen 2. This is another new ETL service is coming. So this is storage account is equals to Lakehouse. Synapse data warehousing is equals to data warehousing. This data factory is equals to data pipeline. Databricks is equals to we have a notebooks. Okay. Live streaming also available inside the Microsoft Fabric. Now after combining of this Power BI and all these capabilities, Microsoft company, this cloud platform, they are calling it as a Microsoft Fabric. I hope you understand. Microsoft Fabric is not a new software. It is already existing Power BI capabilities plus some data engineering capabilities they have added. So clients were using Microsoft Fabric platform. How to log into Microsoft Fabric platform? Simply www.app.powerbi.com. By login to this www.app.powerbi.com, then they can able to implement all this data engineering and data analysis Power BI projects. Okay. So going forward, Microsoft is telling don't use don't use this Microsoft Azure data engineering. Don't use this Microsoft Azure for data engineering purpose. They were preferring to use this Microsoft Fabric only. This these things are told by Microsoft itself. Why? Because earlier for the Microsoft Azure data engineering, the certification exam, what you need to do is DP203, the certification exam. For this Microsoft Fabric, DP700. Now the DP203 certification is going to be expired soon. DP203 exam expired. See, if you are currently preparing for exam DP203, you should take and pass the exam before March 31st, 2025. What is that meaning? After March 31st, there is no DP203 exam. The exam what you need to write down is Microsoft Fabric, that is DP700 exam you need to write down in place of DP203, DP700. DP700 means complete Microsoft Fabric. That means Microsoft company is telling don't use going forward Microsoft Azure data engineering platform to implement the data engineering part. Use Microsoft Fabric platform to implement the data engineering plus data analysis. Okay, let's try to understand what exactly we are going to implement by using this data engineering and data analysis by using a Microsoft platform, Microsoft Fabric platform over here. Okay, so here you can see this is our project flow where you can see, let's for example take a use case. What kind of project I'm going to implement inside the Microsoft Fabric? I have a supermarket in India. I have a supermarket in USA. I have a supermarket in Australia. So this supermarket India, when a customer is coming to store the data, that data is going to store in the Microsoft Azure over here. And another supermarket USA people, they will store their data in a AWS, another cloud, and also they will share save in GCP or in SQL Server, Oracle. These are all my data source systems. My business data is located in any place, Azure, AWS, GCP, SQL, Oracle, whatever it is. My role is by using this Microsoft Fabric, I have to consolidate this data from all these source systems into Lakehouse. To consolidate the data, we have some ETL tool, data factory, nothing but a data pipeline. It will go extract the data from Azure, AWS, GCP, SQL, anywhere into Lakehouse. Lakehouse is something used to store the data in terms of the files over here. Okay, and from the Lakehouse, again we need to load the data into warehouse. Warehouse is a final destination where you are going to store the cleaned transformed data. To move the data from Lakehouse to warehouse, to apply the transformation techniques, there are two ETL services Microsoft Fabric is offering. One is a Databricks notebooks with PySpark, another one is a Dataflows Gen 2. That is also kind of a power query. You can able to drag and drop and doing the ETL process. So I'm going to teach you in this course Data Factory Data Pipelines completely, Lakehouse, Dataflows Gen 2, Databricks notebooks, warehouse, and once the data is coming to warehouse, by using Power BI desktop, we are going to designing of the data modeling and designing of the visualizations over here. Designing of the visualizations. Apart from this stream, we have another kind of live streaming data. Live streaming data. Let's take it to there is a IoT devices. The use case scenario is I just want to capture all the images of the customers who are visiting my supermarket. So that images I want to process and save into a database, that is KQL database. This is completely storing the live streaming data. So by using this Microsoft Fabric, you can able to implement a complete business intelligence solution to the customer by using Data Factory, Lakehouse, Dataflow Gen 2, Bricks, Warehouse, Modeling, and Power BI. You can see inside this Microsoft app.powerbi.com, you can able to find out. Let's go to first. You need to create one workspace to implement your project. I created already one workspace, 2025 batch trainings. Inside, if you want to create any service, click on new item. For example, if you want to create a data pipeline, so simply you can create a data pipelines. Already I have created one data pipeline. Let me open advanced pipelines. This is one pipeline I created. Simply here, like in Azure Data Engineering, how you are doing, drag and drop whatever the activities over here. See here, these are the activities, whatever you want. You can able to drag and drop the activities, connect it, and design a pipelines like this. Okay. So here we are going to use those data factory pipelines for connecting to Azure, AWS, GCP, SQL, or Oracle, and pushing the data into Lakehouse. You can see the Lakehouse. Let's go back again to the workspace, 2025 batch training. How to create a Lakehouse? Simply goes to new item and select the Lakehouse. See, there is a Lakehouse. Already I created a Lakehouse. Let me try to open the Lakehouse to see the data, what data we have stored inside over here. What data we have inside over here. See, there is a source Lakehouse over here. Under this source Lakehouse, this is our Lakehouse where you can able to storing of your data. This is the Lakehouse data we are going to store it over here. So you can able to upload the files inside this one. So Lakehouse is used to store the data in terms of the files. In terms of the files over here. Okay. Right. The next thing is about like once the data is coming to the Lakehouse, then we are going to move the data into warehousing by using Dataflow Gen 2, Databricks notebooks, then modeling and designing of the Power BI visualizations. So in this course, I'm going to teach you completely the ETL services, whatever the data factory, data engineering, nothing but a bricks. I'm going to teach you complete PySpark with the basic Python and Dataflow Gen 2, storage services, Lakehouse, warehouse, data modeling, Power BI, complete Power BI with DAX, Power BI desktop, designing, Power Query Editor, everything I'm going to teach you. So this entire course is going to be take 60 hours duration it will take. The classes we are going to take from Monday to Friday, daily 1 hour session we are going to conduct. We will help you on the resume building, and we will help you on the end-to-end project, DP 700, exam guidance, and interview question and answers I'm going to provide as a part of this training. The one more advantage of this Microsoft Fabric training, what I'm going to teach you is, when I'm teaching this Microsoft Fabric, this data engineering part, I will compare this with the Microsoft Azure data engineering as well. That means inside the Azure, inside the Microsoft Fabric, you are using a Lakehouse, right? So the same Lakehouse, how it looks, how to use in the Microsoft Azure also. I'm going to teach you that one as well. So that means you no need to learn separately again Microsoft Azure data engineering course. 95% inside the Microsoft Fabric, whatever the data engineering part you are learning, the same thing you can able to find out in the Microsoft Azure data engineering. So I'm going to share you the knowledge of both Azure data engineering as well as Microsoft Fabric as well. Primarily we are going to use Microsoft Fabric, but I will give overview how to use the same thing inside the Azure data engineering. Then after completion of this course, you will get a good idea and picture about Power BI, Fabric, data engineering and everything. So once this course is completed, you can apply up to 4 to 5 years of experience on the Microsoft Fabric developer. So latest from last 1.5 to 2 years, you are working as a Fabric environment, but earlier you were working for Power BI and some Azure. This kind of way we can able to design the resumes over here. Okay, so I hope you guys understand what exactly we are trying to teach you inside this course. And one more advantage of this course, if you're learning, I'm going to give you some SQL and Python knowledge as well. Some self-paced recording videos exclusive to this data engineering part I'm designing. Exclusive to this data engineering part I'm designing over here. SQL 20 hours videos, Python 25 hours related to data engineering. These are free of cost we are providing for every student whoever is going to enrolling over here. So as per my experience, most of the people who are coming to learn this kind of Microsoft Fabric courses, the minimum qualification is a graduation or any post graduation, and they belongs to IT some experience, and they have already some IT experience with 10 years, 15 years, and they want to learn Fabric, and some non-IT experience. They want to come to IT. Some people having career gap. Now they want to come to IT. Even freshers also they're going to learn this course because of the good package and job security purpose. Okay. So because nowadays the data is very important, because even the artificial intelligence tools to work, definitely the data is very important over here. Okay. So I'm going to teach you in this course this complete Microsoft Fabric. Once you are learning this Microsoft Fabric, then you don't need to learn separately Power BI, separate Azure data engineering course. If you go to any other training institution, they will teach you only Power BI. Many institutions, they were not still teaching this Fabric. They were not still teaching the Microsoft Fabric with the data engineering part. If some institutions they were teaching Power BI and this data engineering part, but they were not teaching this Microsoft Azure. So I'm going to give you some overview knowledge on the Microsoft Azure data engineering as well, because this Fabric is from last 2 years. But if they're asking earlier 2 years what you worked, then you can tell I work for the Azure data engineering, because Azure data engineering and whatever you are going to learn this data engineering part in the Microsoft Fabric, both are same only. But you should know the user interface, because you can see here in the data factory in this Microsoft Azure portal, data factory looks like this. Let me try to click on create data factory. I'm just giving one example. So how to create this one? You can give any name, simply review and create. In Microsoft Azure, to create a data factory, this much difficult. I mean, you need to give some inputs. But here in the same Microsoft Fabric, if you want to create a data factory, simply goes to new item, and we are calling here as a data pipeline. Click on data pipeline, sample. See, simple. Just give the name of the pipeline and click on create. That's all. But in Microsoft Azure, it has to take some more time, right? So simply goes to the data factory in the Microsoft portal, and I'm sorry, go to the resource. Yeah, here you can see what happened. Yeah, data factory I'm going to open the studio to develop. This is how you need to open the data factory in the Azure. But the same thing, if you're coming here, see, automatically it has opened. This is very simple in the Microsoft Fabric comparing to Azure. So here goes to the activities. There you can able to find out a lot of activities: copy data activity, data flow, delete activity. So the same activities, where can I find inside the Azure data factory? That you should know, right? So that I will give you the overview. So if you want to find out this, simply goes to author. Here you can click on a create new pipeline. Once you are creating the new pipeline, you can able to see it here: copy data activity, data flow activity, notebook activity. All the activities you can able to find out over here. But the same activities in this Microsoft Fabric, you can find out it over here: copy data activity. This is just a key differences I will provide. Then if you're understanding, the concept is same, then you can able to use this copy data activity over here to develop this one. Here you are going to use the copy data activity over here to develop the things. So once you are opening the copy data activity, all options are same. See here: source, destination, mapping, settings. The same thing you can able to see: source, sync, mapping, settings, all those things. So this kind of training we are going to provide. You will get a knowledge completely on all the areas. Okay. So the regular sessions we are going to plan from the Monday onwards. So whoever interested, we are going to conduct some free sessions initially. Okay. 3 free sessions we are going to conduct for everyone. Monday we are going to start the sessions. If you have still any questions on this course about the pricings and all those things, you just reach out to the point of contact 7997457228. Her name is Ramya. Okay. If anybody wants to speak with me also, you can able to contact this number as well. Now if you guys have any questions, then you can able to send a message, or else you can able to uh, unmute and you can able to speak with me.